You are listening to the Berman Method podcast featuring Dr. Jake Berman and Jenni Berman, physician assistant, where we treat problems, not symptoms.
All right. We are live and loud. We are on number 5 now, right? Aren't we on number 5?
Yeah, I think so.
We are on number 5 of the Berman Method podcast. Hopefully our audio is sounding better and better every time. Thank you again for bearing with us there. Numbers 3 and 4 should have sounded much better than 1 and 2. And now hopefully today this sounds even better because we got a brand new fancy microphone that I've been running around the house pretending like I'm front stage Leonard Skinner, but singing Garth Brooks, blame it all on my roots. You should see the look Jenni's giving me right now.
Only because I've been dealing with it for days.
Okay. So let's keep rolling with it. Today we've got a very popular topic because there's huge misconceptions about this. What is it today we're going to talk about?
Water!
Water, and specifically dehydration. How much water should we be drinking a day? How important is it to drink enough water? Does coffee count? Does juice count? Does beer count? Because it's mostly water, isn't it?
Your type of beer is. Not everybody's beer.
Oh, good boomerang burn right there. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's give us a real quick overview, Jenni, on what's our body is composed of. Why is water so important? Just lay it on us.
Did you know that nearly 75% of your body is water?
You know, I've heard that many times, and that's really hard for me to understand because I'm just picturing 75% of my body being water, and I don't see it. Where is it? Where is all this water? If 75% of my body's water, where is it?
Why? You think your body's just all muscle or what?
That's what I think when I'm looking in the mirror going, damn, you're getting ready for spring break? Not dad bod.
It's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
Yes, that makes me feel much better about it. It's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
Anyways, yes, your body is composed about 75% of water, which is just crazy. I mean, between your organs, your muscles, even the bone, all of this. Water is super important for the body to be able to move nutrients, to move hormones, and to move elements in the body. We need water to enable proteins, and we know from prior discussions how important protein is, right?
Kind of.
So yes, water is very, very important, and being dehydrated can actually have a whole slew of symptoms that can occur when really the problem comes down to drinking more water.
Interesting. Very interesting. So let's dig a little deeper. However, before we get in a little deeper, let's just summarize what I was talking about earlier. 75% of our bodies is water, but it doesn't literally look like water. It's the composition of this cell makeup, or the organs are made up of water. It's not literally water. It's just broken down into water as the main component of the organs, right?
Correct. H2O. Hydrogen and oxygen.
Got it. Okay, so let's move on. What causes dehydration?
Well, we have the obvious, not drinking enough water, right? Which we'll talk about what is enough water. But there's a lot of other factors that can cause us to be dehydrated when we don't even realize it's occurring. Loose stool or irritable bowel syndrome with diarrhea, or actually constipation, and several other gastrointestinal issues like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, which are a little more in depth, but those can cause dehydration too, as the body is releasing more water than it's absorbing. Heat, kind of like here in Southwest Florida, we've been walking the dogs every night and have to come in and immediately get in the shower just from a slow walk.
It's not slow.
Well, I
You
mean,
guys have to understand.
in your
Jenni-
opinion.
Jenni does not have a slow mode of walking. It's either fast or super fast. So I'm pretty much jogging to try to keep up with her walking. But anyways,
The point of that was it's hot and heat can easily cause us to be dehydrated. Exercise. So if you're exercising consistently and not replenishing enough water, other things like a high sodium diet. If you're eating a lot of sodium, packaged meats, fast foods, high fat meats, these things can also cause you to be dehydrated because of the way the body balances sodium and potassium. Kidney issues. If you know anyone or if you have any kidney issues, that can certainly lead to dehydration. And another big one that a lot of people don't even think about, but if you're on a diuretic medication, which is basically a quote unquote water pill for certain diseases or even blood pressure, can cause you to be dehydrated too. So this comes back to your Western medicine thinking of let's treat this problem with a medication and it causes another symptom.
very interesting. There's two things that you mentioned in there that I do want to talk a little bit more about because they're kind of skimmed over. And I just want to make sure that all of our listeners know exactly what we're talking about. The first thing is the heat and the exercise one. The reason why that causes dehydration is because we're sweating more than we're taking in, right?
Correct.
And then the high sodium one, that's essentially salt, right?
Correct.
Salt is in a lot of stuff. So you said packaged meats. One thing that people don't realize is deli meat, right?
Right.
Deli meat is a big one. BJ, or before Jenni, I used to think that I was doing pretty darn good by going to Publix and getting the sliced deli meat, fresh deli meat, and eating that. I thought it was a very good high protein snack and lunch, whatever. Until I come to find out how much sodium is in that stuff. So it's really not that good. So beware of those things. Oh, wait, one last thing. The loose stool. Do you remember when you first got sick back in PA school?
Yes.
And we, of course, you remember. We both remember. That's why we're doing this podcast right now. Before we knew the answers, and Jenni was losing so much weight, she was, how much water were you drinking a day?
Nearly 200 ounces of water. And if you know how much that is, that's over a gallon and a half.
Closer to 2
2
gallons.
gallons. Yeah.
Seriously, Jenni was drinking like a fish, and we didn't really think about it or understand what was happening because she was having the loose stool, because she could not keep anything down. As soon as she ate something, she had to immediately run to the bathroom. This was causing dehydration, so she was constantly thirsty. So I know there's going to be at least one person that listens to this podcast that this is appropriate for because we've lived it. If you are chugging water like a fish, there's a sign. That's a sign that something else is going on. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. What's the effects of dehydration?
Well, we know the typical effects of, your lips being chapped. That was one of my main symptoms, too, before I went into the hospital. Actually, my lips were just cracking and bleeding. And that's when Jake and my mom pretty much forced me to get in the car and go over to the hospital. But anyway, so there's definitely the physical symptoms of your mouth being dry, cotton mouth, cracked lips. Your heart rate can increase. The blood pressure can actually go up or down. So if you have a low blood pressure or a high blood pressure, these both can be symptoms of dehydration as well. A big one that I see in my practice all the time is fatigue. People tell me, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. Why am I so tired? If they increase their water, with really no other changes, but we just simply increase how much they're drinking, they see drastic effects on this, big positive changes to where they're not as tired. Headaches or dizziness. So some people will feel dizzy when they change positions or go from sitting to standing or lying to standing. This is a big symptom of dehydration. Tunnel hearing, if you've ever had it, it's super annoying. That can actually be a big sign of dehydration as well.
Big one that you said in there that I don't want to gloss over because it's very, very important is dehydration can actually cause weight gain.
I didn't say that yet.
Oh, we didn't get there, so we messed that up. Teaser alert. Get to that one.
Oh my goodness. He's just trying to give away all my secrets here. Something else that I see a lot is chronic constipation. So we have a lot of people who will say, I might have 2 bowel movements a week. It doesn't matter what I do. I take all these medicines. It's not getting better. And they're just simply not drinking enough water. Muscle cramps at night. So if you're waking up with cramps in your calves or having cramps in your toes during the day, during your work day, this could also be a sign. Now, since you already knew the teaser, weight gain. Yes, dehydration. This is true. Dehydration can cause weight gain. It actually slows down the metabolism. Being dehydrated, meaning not having that balance of the sodium, potassium, not having enough water, can actually decrease the rate at which the body processes food. Water is required to break down fats, to break down proteins into amino acids, which are then used for energy. So the rate that we can actually burn calories decreases if we are not drinking enough water. So now, what did you have to say about that?
Oh my gosh, you guys should be seeing the looks that Jenny's giving me right now. I'm so dead.
You're not dead.
Okay. I just think that that's a really important one because we see a lot of people that are really concerned about their weight. And one of the things that they'll do is they'll cut out drinking enough water, even excessive water, or even enough water because they are quote unquote saying that's water weight and they don't want to have the weight. Or there's the other extreme where people will go to the gym and they'll wear those trash bags or those sweatsuits and they'll work out for an hour and sweat out 5 pounds of water. They'll jump on the scale and they'll say, all right, great, I'm down 5 pounds. And then they'll go and drink water or whatever they're drinking the rest of the day. And the scale's right back to where it was the next day, right?
Yes, that can happen. And actually, contrary to what you just said, dehydration can actually cause the body, the scale to go up because the body actually pulls water out of the intestines and into the system. So your water weight can actually increase with being dehydrated, which is very confusing to a lot of people.
Right. So what Jenny's talking about there is she has a body composition scale, and the scale measures your total body weight and measures your muscle mass, your fat mass, your water mass. So it's able to break down the percentage of water weight, quote unquote water weight. And that's one of the things that people get obsessed with over sometimes. And it's not necessarily the right way to look at it. Am I saying this the right way now?
Right. Yeah. So, similar to what you said, sure, if you go and sweat out a bunch of, water at the gym, sure, your weight's going to go down and then it's going to come right back up once you replenish that water. But also being dehydrated can actually cause the water weight itself to go up too. So it's definitely a balance when looking at the body composition. Something else we haven't mentioned yet is how being dehydrated can actually increase joint pain and even inflammation.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's crazy. Crazy.
That is one thing that I'll talk to some of my clients about is back pain, for example. People that come in for back pain, it's one of the things that we ask is how much water are you drinking a day? Because it can play such an important or crucial role into pain, arthritis, the pain response, and how the body actually functions.
Right. And healing too.
Yes. Why does it have so much to do with healing? Because the body's what percentage of water?
75%.
So if we don't have enough of it in our body, is our body going to work better or worse?
Well, again, going back to the body needing water to move nutrients and to move elements in order to allow for the healing process to occur.
Interesting. Okay.
Hey, did you know?
Did I know?
Wait, let me stop right there. What's the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up?
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah.
Something that you want me to actually say on record here?
No, like when you finally make it to the kitchen, what's the first thing you do?
Okay. I drink 16 ounces of water.
Did you know that drinking 2 glasses of water or 16 ounces of water prior to a meal can actually increase the metabolism by 30%?
Come on.
I'm serious. I read it on a research article this morning.
You just been holding that out? You've been holding back on me this whole time?
Okay, no, because I think I'm the one that introduced you to drinking 16 ounces of water when you first wake up in the morning.
You actually did. So that's a very good blue light special. I don't want to gloss over this much at all or too fast, because a lot of people, we're going to get to this in a little bit or in a minute here. How much water does Jenni recommend that we drink a day? And 99% of the people listening to this are going to say, no way, not even possible. Blue light special, the easiest way to increase it is to pound 16 ounces right out of the gate. First thing, before you brush your teeth or anything, just get up, get out of the bed, go to the bathroom, then go into the kitchen, pour you room temperature water would be ideal, and just put it down right then and there, and then get your day going.
So drinking 16 ounces of plain water when you first wake up in the morning can actually help to remove toxins. So that's why it's so important to do it right when you wake up prior to eating anything. But on the other side of that, drinking 16 ounces of water, plain water, before every meal can increase the metabolism 30%.
30%? That's insane.
I know. So if you don't do it, do it. But that leads us into how much water should we be drinking?
Oh man, do I get to ask the next question? I'm not going to mess it up this time.
How much water do you drink a day?
Not enough. That's the best answer I can give you. However,
I hear that a lot, actually.
I do strive for at least 100 ounces.
100? That's definitely not enough.
Well, 128 is the goal. Sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Why? You know, the biggest thing I hear when I ask people why they don't drink enough water. Well, first of all, I have my answers when I ask people if they're drinking enough water. It's very 50-50. I have 50% say not enough. I have 50% say I drink water all the time. But then when I actually have them count their ounces, they might actually be getting about 40 ounces, which certainly isn't enough.
That's huge right there, because I get the same thing when I ask my clients, how much water are you drinking? A lot of them will say, I'm drinking a fair amount. And I say, really? I really want you to go home today and start measuring it. Count it out. Give me a total number when you get back. And the same thing happens to me. They'll come back and say, it's not even 50.
Yeah. And, you know, filling a 30-ounce Yeti half of ice and then water doesn't really count as 30 ounces.
What?
I know. People tell me I go through 8 30-ounce Yetis a day with ice or without ice.
The details. Devil is in the details.
But what I was getting at was, you know, when I ask people why they're not drinking enough water, so many will tell me because then I have to use the bathroom.
That's exactly where I was, and that's fair. That's very fair. And to let everybody know that's listening to this, when Jenni first started telling me I'm not even close to drinking enough water, and I started trying to pound the water, and I was trying to get up to just even 75 ounces of water a day, it was literally multiple times an hour. that I had to go to the restroom. And the thing that I can tell you is it's temporary, or at least it's temporary for the majority of people, where we're just shocking the system, and it's not a permanent thing. Your body is just not used to it. So it's going to create that urgency, and you're going to have to go to the restroom more frequently. It usually does not last.
Right. Usually it doesn't last. Usually your body will start to recognize this as a good thing and actually utilize the water.
Okay, so I've got more work to do. This is great. I mean, this is really good for me because, we all need check-ins. Even me, even Jenny, we all need check-ins. And if we don't do it regularly, it's easy to slowly slip off the bandwagon. So guess what I'm going to do today?
A gallon of water?
Yes.
All right.
128 ounces, baby. It's going down.
So I typically recommend about 80 to 100 ounces for a typical client. So just a normal active level, normal work life balance, and normal diet with no medical history of kidney disease or anything like that. 80 to 100 ounces is a good goal. For an active client, I try to push a gallon, which is that 128 ounces. Of course, there are things that where individuals should not drink that much water. For instance, we've touched on it a couple times, kidney disease. If you have low kidney function or you're on certain medications for your kidneys, you should not drink that much water. So certainly discuss this with your providing physician or reach out to us and ask us questions if you're wondering about how much water you should be drinking. But I did see a research study by the Mayo Clinic, which I hope all of you know is a very good hospital system and research clinic. They recommended that men in temperate climates should drink 125 ounces of water a day, which is nearly a gallon, and women should drink 90 ounces of water a day. And that's without excessive exercise.
Oh man, I know that there are people just cringing right now. However, before we get into the next thing, I do want to say this because we haven't explicitly said this on the podcast. And after what you just said right there, we do need to let everybody know that the purposes of this podcast is just for entertainment purposes. This is not medical advice. Everybody's unique situation is unique. And you really should consult with your primary physician or consult with Jenny if you're working with Jenny. Do not take advice from us on this podcast as straight up medical advice, because there are other situations, aka what she was just saying about the kidney disease. You start pounding water and you've got a kidney disease, we've got a much bigger problem. So this is strictly for entertainment purposes. Please, please, please consult with your primary care physician.
Yes, agreed. Something else on the water topic of how much water that we should be drinking is we can get something called hyponatremia if we're drinking too much water. So there is such thing as drinking too much water, although it's rare that actually occurs in most individuals. Hyponatremia simply means the sodium level is low, because remember the water kind of balances that sodium potassium. So if we're overhydrating, it depletes our sodium levels.
Well, okay. Well, thanks for saying that. That helps us out a little bit, right? Because that's two different extremes that we had. We had hypernatremia. That's from too much sodium from eating the packaged meat, the deli meat. And then we got the exact opposite ends of the spectrum, hyponatremia, which means not enough sodium because it's too diluted. You've just flushed everything out, right?
Right. And that plays into the kidney disease issue. That's why I went on to that subject.
Right. Okay. What about that other stuff? That what is it? That smart water stuff, or there's Propel. I think there's about 11 billion other varieties of this quote unquote smart water, or what is it? Vitamin infused water or mineral infused water. Is that stuff good?
The hangover cure of IV hydration. Has anyone ever used that?
Not me.
Yeah, so there are tons of them out there. The IV hydration, the Propel packet, Smart Water, Buy. There's lots of those that have the waters that have electrolytes in them. Should we be drinking them? My short answer for that is it depends. And I know that doesn't really help us out a whole lot, but it does depend on your activity level, how much you're sweating, how much you're excreting salt or, through your sweat, excreting the sodium. It depends on your medications, diuretics, and medications that can cause dehydration. Typically speaking, sure, the Smart Water, the Propel water counts as your water intake, and it's nice because most of them are flavored and flavor your water. But again, we have to be careful that if we're drinking too much electrolytes, too much magnesium, too much sodium, these can affect things like the heart rate, the blood pressure, but also can cause issues with our kidneys for getting, again, too much sodium.
Interesting, very interesting, but it just tastes so delicious and it's water, so I really want to just drink more of it.
I agree. And my usual answer is one of those electrolyte waters a day to replace 16 ounces of your regular water is fine, but that means that you need to be getting 74 ounces of your regular water and then 16 ounces of your electrolyte water. If you're very active and training for a marathon or training for a triathlon or sweating a lot, or you work outside in Southwest Florida during the summertime in construction or whatever it might be, and you're sweating a lot, then sure, several of these a day may be okay for you.
Good. Very good. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, if it's okay with you, I would like to get into one of the most controversial questions ever. Can we do it?
I'm ready.
Does coffee count? I love coffee. I drink a gallon of coffee a day, and that's all water. That counts, right?
It's practically water, but no. Caffeine is actually very dehydrating. So things like coffee, caffeinated tea, soda, those don't count. And then what about decaf soda? Is that next? Uncaffeinated soda? No. Aspartame, which is a common ingredient in decaf soda, it's a sugar, artificial sugar. Aspartame can actually spike blood sugar just like regular sugar can. So number one, it's not good for the insulin levels in the body, which we've talked about several weeks, but that also can be very dehydrating. But the good news is the water you put in your protein drink every day, that counts.
Okay. So that's definitely going in the right direction.
And seltzer waters or bubbly waters can count without going in excess.
Okay. All right, cool.
Did you know that tonic water has high fructose corn syrup in it?
No, I did not know that. I don't necessarily drink it, so maybe that's why I don't know it. However, I know that other people drink it frequently.
Yeah, tonic water is actually like really high in calories and sugar and carbohydrates and is dehydrating.
Dang, food for thought there. So those people thinking that they're drinking the low calorie drink at the bar, what is it? The vodka tonic or the gin and tonic, it's actually not that low calorie.
It's not. No, that's a negative ghostwriter. But you could do soda water. Not that I'm encouraging vodka or gin, but you could do soda water, and that would be low calorie and low sugar and not as dehydrating.
Interesting. Very interesting. So to summarize those last 5 minutes there, or however long it was, coffee does not count. That's the most common one. People usually drink at least 1 cup a day. Sometimes there's other people that drink 2 or 3 cups a day. And the people that are struggling with the dehydration the most are sometimes around the 2 or 3 cups a day. And the easiest thing that we can tell you to do is for every cup of coffee you drink, as soon as it's done, go ahead and fill up that same exact coffee cup with room temperature water and just pound it. Just put it down, get it down, and then you're breaking even again. right? Is
Right.
that fair?
That's fair. And decaf coffee is one of those things people ask me, well, what if I do a cup of regular and then a cup of decaf? I count decaf as neutral. It's not hydrating you. It's not necessarily dehydrating you, but it just kind of cancels out.
Okay. So the take-home message is drink more water. And for those people out there that are cringing right now saying that's way too much water and I just don't like the way water tastes, it's boring, my advice to you is get over it. Just drink the dang water, chug it. You don't have to sip it. When you sip water all day long, it does get boring, it does get old. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to drink 8 ounces of water right now, you can be done with 8 ounces of water in less than 5 seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, and then it's done. Just get it out of the way. That's my advice. I don't know if Jenni has a different take-home message for this or not.
Yeah, I agree. Just do it. But there's also ways that you can flavor your water, which I help my clients with on learning how to flavor their water without the aspartame or the added sugar. So those are things that we could talk about too, but that's for another day.
Okay, very cool.
Drink more water.
Drink more water. I think this was very educational. And again, this is just for entertainment purposes. This is not to be taken as medical advice. Please, please, please consult with your own primary physician before you do any of this stuff. This is just for entertainment. Take-home message is drink more water, or at least start with measuring it, because chances are you are not even close to the daily recommended amount. So, do we know what we're talking about next time yet?
You're back next week.
Oh, I'm back solo next week. Very cool.
Maybe I'll be around.
Oh, so it's still up in there. All right. Well, again, hopefully today's episode's sound quality was better. We're still working on it every single day. So thank you for bearing with us. Until next week, thank you again. This is the Berman Method Podcast. We out.
Ciao for now.
For more information, view the show notes where you can email us,